Hey, what's up, everybody? This is your boy Kenny, and this is Empire Season 4, Episode 4, and the name of this episode is Bleeding War. Man, this was actually a really good episode, and I can't wait to tell you guys about it. But before I get started, let me give out my love and condolences to everyone that was affected by the tragedies in Las Vegas, as well as everyone that was affected by the hurricanes, Harvey, Irma, Jose, and Maria. If you can give relief and give support to everyone that was affected by these tragedies, please do so, because our fellow man needs our help. Now, let me get started with this review. The episode starts off, Lucius and Cookie are having a conversation where she's letting him know everything about what happened when she went to prison for 17 years. And, you know, they also, while she's talking to Lucius, they're also showing flashbacks of when she was in jail, and they show a scene where, AJ, who was the host of 106 in Park, you know, that used to be my show back in the day too. Well, Lucius actually appeared on 106 in Park, and she was watching it along with some of her cellmates, you know, in prison, and then all of a sudden this big girl comes in there and she turns the channel and pretty much says that, and Cookie's like, excuse me, but I was watching that. And she's like, yeah, but now we're watching this. And things go left, and her and old girl get into a fight. And, you know, and she was adamant because she's like, I'm watching my husband on TV, and you just gonna come up here and turn the shit? So her and Cookie got into it. Old girl pulls out a razor. She slices Cookie up. You know, she even cuts Cookie's hand. And she even got like some bruises on her face and all that. And then we actually see that her and the girl China, who we met last week, you know, the girl that wanted to give her the shower shoes, you know, her and her have gotten close. And, you know, her and the Philly girls have become like a family. And she was like telling Lucius that, you know, we got along with everybody up in jail except for the white girls and the hood girls, and then some of the DC girls didn't like us either. And what was the name of that big girl? Her name was Pound Cake. That was the big girl that got into it with her. And then we actually see that China tries to dress up Cookie's wounds before she meets Lucius. And what ends up happening was that the guard noticed that she was putting on makeup, and she's like, girl, what are you doing? You trying to give her cosmetics? Like, she get caught with that, she going back in the hole. So no. So he told her to wipe her face, and she's just going to have to see Lucius the way she is. So we actually see when, and she's pretty much telling Lucius all of this, you know, while they're sitting down talking with each other. And we're also seeing the flashback of her in prison. So we see in prison, she finally sees Lucius, you know, since she's been locked up. You know, they're talking, and we can see Lucius is really kind of shaken because he sees that Cookie's been beaten up and she's been in a fight. And she's like, don't even worry about me. I'm more worried about you being on that stage and you delivering and you keeping up with the empire that we're trying to start. But then she asks about the boys. He says Andre is not well, and, you know, because we also know that Andre's bipolar. So he started to see the early signs then. And then he says that, Jamal really wants to see you. And, you know, he wants to see you for his birthday. And, you know, Cookie at first is adamant, you know, I don't want him to come in here and see me like this, but at the end of the day, that's what he wants to do, we can do that. And then that's when we first saw the first episode of Empire, when Jamal goes to see Cookie, and he went by himself, and Lucius didn't go back there with him. So I was like, wow, so all of that gets revealed, and she's telling him all of this, and he's saying that I want to make up for everything that Lucius did to you. And she's like, look, you know, it's just time to move forward, and but he was saying that, you know, but hey, I can make today right. So pretty much they had talked throughout the whole entire night. And she's like, well, I got to, you know, hurry up and, you know, go back to work because we got work to do. And, you know, Lucius is like, well, why not I go with you? And she's like, you really want to go through that after what happened the last time? And he's like, yeah, because, remember the last time Jamal snuck him in and all this crazy shit happened. Like, Warren had showed up and then Shine had showed up and scared him half to death with the music. So she was kind of on the fence about taking him, but he said that, no, I really want to get back into understanding what was my role in Empire and also, getting back familiar with things. So she says, okay, let's go. And then next thing you know, we hear, going where? What did I miss? And we see his damn Claudia's ass. Claudia then showed the show back up. And Claudia definitely has a sinister plan, and I'm definitely going to talk about it in this episode. Yes, this bitch gotta go. Alright. So, we see that Cookie brings Lucius to Empire. Becky hugs him and Portia hugs him and everyone's happy to see him. Then we got like Andre and Jamal to the side. Like Jamal's like, man, I at least had enough common sense to sneak him in, and you gonna bring him out here in the public like this? Like, what the hell you doing? And then Andre's like, what the hell is going on? And then the next thing you know, we see Andre gets like these red flowers, and it says for tomorrow. And we see that this has completely shaken Andre up because. The reason is because, one, tomorrow is Bella's birthday. Now, for all of us who've been following this show, we know what happened on Bella's birthday. Before Bella was born, within that same day, Andre lost his wife because of Anita's ass. So, we definitely see that Andre is just shaken up like crazy throughout the whole episode, and those flowers just definitely, it really just put him in a bad state. So pretty much Cookie's like, she comes in, she checks in with Andre and Jamal, and she's like, where's Hakeem? And she said, oh, Hakeem, is at home arguing with Anika over Bella's birthday party. Well, she's like, well, he need to hurry and get his ass in here because we got work to do. So while that's going on in Empire, we also get a scene with Diane, Angelo, and Warren. Now Angelo is in on the bullshit with Diane and Warren. And pretty much Warren has already went back and told the damn business to Diane about Lucius having brain damage. And he was saying that, it's like he has amnesia. He has migraines, he has outbursts, and, he has me call him Dwight, not Lucius. He doesn't want to be defined as Lucius, and he's telling them all of this crap, and I'm like, see, Jamal, you done gave some gifts to the enemy, and you so wrapped up around Warren's finger, you don't even know you getting screwed. And pretty much, Diana's like, this is really impressive. I wonder how you get all this information. Like, how did you get, Jamal to share all this information? And then all of a sudden, Angelo's like, probably in the bed, Catamite. And he's like, what? And then Diane was like, oh, he definitely got that from some classic literature. But, just because now you decided to sharpen your knife doesn't mean you come around acting like a snob. He's like, okay, fine. So tell me, what's your plan, cuz? Well, and then Angelo's like, well, unlike you, when I screw a lion, I know how to get the goods. And I was like, ooh, Warren and Angelo do not like each other at all. Like, they family, but they can't stand each other. Well, then, he pretty much says that, well, and then Diana's like, well, you can go back and forth with your cousin all the hell you want to, but at the end of the day, he is bringing me something good, so why don't you do something useful for a change? Get out your little stupor and actually make something happen. Hold on to that, because we see Angelo in a totally different fashion. I mean, I haven't seen somebody so butthurt that now they decided to dance with the devil. Okay, so pretty much we see that Claudia also accompanies Lucius and Cookie to Empire. Claudia is still trying to, well, we want to make sure that, the white doesn't do this and the white doesn't do that. And Cookie's like, look, I got this handle. Won't you sit down and do what doctors do? You doing too much. Let me handle this. I got this. I got this handle. So we actually see they're in the studio, and Hakeem is playing his song "Shut Up," and we can see that it's triggering Lucius, but Lucius is able to maintain it. So, and then we see Hakeem is like dancing and all this stuff. I'm like, okay, Hakeem, cool. But then he's saying that. So then after it was over, he asked Lucius like, so what you think, Dad? I mean, it's kind of like Jay-Z's Blueprint, and he says that, it sounds rather impressive. It seems like you're very passionate behind what you do. So everyone's kind of thrown off about Lucius' responses, but Lucius is actually making some really clear, critiques. But people are just kind of blowing it off because he's not giving the Lucius Lion asshole treatment. He's giving the white, but he still has that ear, which is interesting. So pretty much, he was saying that, it's definitely, he says, I really don't like the lyric content, but I do love his passion, and I love his drive. So Cookie is now saying, okay, we need, to launch this 2020, thing for Empire, we need an alpha and, we need an omega. The alpha was going to be Hakeem, and the omega was going to be Jamal, but obviously Hakeem ain't ready because I'm not feeling this new song, and obviously it was not the song that Becky told him to do. So she's now decided we're going to have like a Hunger's Game type of situation where all the Empire artists got to compete to get that first album out, and whoever's on top is the one who's going to get that album. So we see, but pretty much that's what ends up happening. So we get all of these different artists, and we see that Hakeem is pissed off, because Cookie's like, your album is not, you definitely not ready, and you need to come and show improvement. And Jamal's like, well, I'm the Omega, so I don't have to prove nothing. And Cookie's like, you're not the Omega now. I'm scratching everything. I want the artist who's the most hungry and who is ready to really represent Empire and to represent their artistry. So at the end of the day, everybody gotta compete, for their spot. And then Tiana jumps in and she's like, well, I don't agree with this at all, Cookie. She's like, well, honey, it's either you get along with this or maybe this album that you're working on might get shelved. So I think you need to get on board and cut your bullshit. So we see that this goes on. So we see the competition is out there. Jamal is mad and he ends up leaving. And he's actually working on this little love song thing. And he's trying to write this new album of love songs. And just right now, and so pretty much we see that that's going on with Jamal, and I'm going to get to him more later. So then we see the competition. Tiana's the first one. Tiana slays hers. Then we get this rapper named Dagger who's up there rapping. This other rapper comes and knocks him out because he stole his beat. Then we had this guy named Tommy who's a really good singer, had a beautiful voice. And Lucius is like right there with Cookie while she's singing all these artists. He's giving his critiques, but then, Cookie is kind of like bypassing him because, Cookie knows Lucius, and this is what she's going by. But she got the white sitting next to her, and the white and Lucius are not the same person. So they're just butting heads and everything. But when it came to the guy Tommy, he was saying, you have a great voice, and yeah, you definitely got the alpha, but there's some pain in your voice, and I can tell you're suffering. What's going on? And he said that his brother just got shot, and he don't know whether his brother's going to live or die. So he says that, look, you definitely alpha material, but you need to go and focus on your family, and when you come back, we got you. And I was like, and that is something that Lucius would have never done. We saw from the first episode when V was when V was in the booth, he told V to think about, when your brother got killed. Think back when you actually saw his body. Use that to get the emotion out of her. So we know how Lucius really gets down, and what he showed is that, he's giving you the white. And this did not gel too well with Cookie, because it got to the point where Lucius, he pretty much told Cookie that, look, you just been really rude and disrespectful to every artist that's come in here. Like, what's going on with you? Some of these acts were good and you were just rude to them. And she's like, look, this is what you would have done. You ain't about your feelings. It ain't about you cuddling nobody. Either they come hard or they go home, and that's what it is. But you know what? I need to get this done, and if you're going to be on this other shit, then maybe you should go home too, because, I can't deal with this right now. And I'm just like, damn. Oh yeah, and then when Tori came in there, she immediately was like, oh no, Ivory Soul, definitely not. She's definitely not going to be Omega. She need to get her ass up out of here. Go, bitch, go. And then we see that she actually goes to talk to Jamal. Her and Jamal are supposed to be working on this song called Love is a Drug, which is about, them battling, addiction, but also, having this yearning to love. And both of them are actually gelling on the song, but then Jamal is like, he's having difficulty because he's like, the lyrics are not working, and, we need to really work this out. And, I'm just really trying to, get this song right, because this has to be a series of love songs, and how we're going to talk about substance abuse. And she's saying that, look, sometimes love is a drug. And it's kind of funny, because this is exactly what Jamal is going through right now. And definitely bear with me, because I'm definitely going to play this out. But what ends up happening, matter of fact, I'm just going to add it all here. So what ends up happening is that he was originally supposed to be doing the song with Tori, and they were working on it, but then, when it came down to his audition, for that alpha spot, he comes in there, he's got the song right, but he decides that he's no longer going to do it with Tori. He's going to do the damn song with Warren. So him and Warren performing. Becky at first was like, first of all, he is not even an Empire artist, so what the hell are you doing? And he's like, Becky, calm down, man. Like, look, I've been working with him. We got this. And it's like, his whole thing is that, and he was saying that, because we actually saw earlier that, in this episode that him and Warren did have a scene together, and Warren is saying that, and like pretty much Warren is like saying like, so what's going on with you? And he's like, look, I'm trying to get this song right, but something's just not clicking. I mean, if anything, if I'm talking about love, I should talk about, the love that I'm feeling right now, and the love that I have. And all of a sudden, Warren is like, love? And he's like, yeah. And he also told Tori that, what he has with Lauren is somewhat reminiscent of what Cookie has with Lucius. And he says that glim moment before that explosion, I finally saw my parents in love in a way I've never seen before. That's the kind of love I want, and I don't want to settle for anything less. So he thinks he has that with Warren. Or does he? We have to see this story play out, because we actually see that he bumps Tori off, and Tori's pissed. And he does the song with Warren. Becky and Cookie, they all love it, and they said, okay, that's going to be the Alpha album. So Jamal's album is going to be the first one. And then we see later on, that, Diane and Warren have lunch, and we see that Diane has leaked the story to the press about Lucius' mental state. And he was saying, and she's like, oh, so we're going to see how this is all going to play out. And we see that Warren is bothered by it. So it makes me see that, okay, he's kind of at a crossroads in a way, because I think he really does have feelings for Jamal, but he has to fulfill his obligation to his grandmother. So this is going to be interesting on how this is going to play out. Alright, so let me see what else I want to talk about. So then we also now I'm gonna talk about Anika. Anika is out shopping for Bella's birthday party, and she's like charged everything to Hakeem Lion, and the next thing you know, she gets cornered by somebody, and it's Angelo. Angelo is like, hey, Anika, I haven't seen you since a few months back. Where you been? And she's like, well, your mother let me rot in jail, so she can kiss my ass. And she's like, look, I know what happened to you was messed up, but it's because of the lions, and you know how them lions like to bite. When are you gonna? And if they bit you once, they're gonna bite you again. So how about you bite them before they bite you? Whenever you need me, call me. I'm legit. So I'm like, oh hell. Then we actually get a scene where Cookie, the whole family's in there. And Bella's there too. Bella, I think, is sleeping, and they're talking about her party thing, which is going to be Princess and the Prince. Meaning the artist. Prince the artist. Yes. So I'm also loving this theme. They're talking about it. Then all of a sudden, Lucius comes in, and all of a sudden, he gives like, "Hello, Anika. How are you? You look well," and all of a sudden she was like, "Oh yeah, Nika just got out of jail," and he's like, "What? Am I the reason she was in jail?" Technically, no, you went in jail because of his mother, actually. But he's like, "Well, I apologize for everything that I've done," and she's like, "Oh really? Oh, you apologize? Oh yeah, so you're going to apologize for the sham wedding? Are you going to apologize for the fact that you kept me from my daughter for about 6 months?" And this sets Andre all the way off. Andre is ready to fuck Anika up. Because he's like, you know what? All of you forgotten. Y'all up here planning Bella's birthday party and everybody's happy, but nobody realizes that that's the day that I lost my wife. And I lost my opportunity to have a family all because of her. And next he tried to lunge at her again. And then all of a sudden, it was, pretty much they kind of like, got, Andre to calm down and to go off somewhere. But Andre was ready to fuck Anika up, and Anika broke down. Bella woke up. So that scene was crazy. Then, comes the birthday party. They're pretty much paying homage to Prince. They do Let's Go Crazy, which is my shit. Love that song. From the Purple Rain soundtrack. They performing it up. Bella's looking just like Prince, and Cookie got her Prince flair on too. She's looking real good. And they all just jamming, having a good old time. And pretty much, Anika is like dressed as a princess. And she's like, well, yeah, it's all great that I'm here, being a guest at my own daughter's birthday party. And they pretty much do a performance and everything. Everybody's having a good time. Lucius, afterwards, Lucius, after her and Lucius got into it, Cookie, he goes to talk to Andre. And he can definitely connect with Andre, too, that Andre's having a bad time. And, that he's going through it. But he says there's something about those flowers just says a lot about your mood, that you're really hurting right now. But, but it wasn't until that explosion that Lucius finally realized he was upset about what happened, with his wife, Rhonda. But we knew at the end of the day, Lucius really didn't give a damn about Rhonda. But, he was pretty much with her when she was about to have his grandchild, but when that went down, he didn't care after that. So we saw that happen. But going back to the birthday party, everybody's having a good old time. Pretty much Andre shows up. He's kind of cool, calm, collected or whatever, but you can definitely tell he's still going through it. Cookie pretty much says that, we're a family, we're not a family without you, and I know this is really hard for you, and we apologize that we totally forgot that, yeah, you went through a tough loss after what happened, on that same day. But he says that, what, it's Bella's birthday, so let's just celebrate Bella's birthday, it's not Bella's fault. So, all that's cool. Then he goes outside, and guess what? He runs into Detective Pamela again. she's standing right there, whatever. And, you know, he was saying that, look, if you're going to arrest me, at least not do it at my niece's birthday party. And she's like, well, that's not what it is. You know, I really think that, you know, after, you know, what today means to you, I was thinking you probably need somebody. And then all of a sudden it dawned on him, you the one who sent me the flowers. And then all of a sudden it just made him immediately drawn to her. But I'm thinking, she's a plot also. So I'm thinking, yeah, she's definitely a plot, because all of a sudden she played on that, and it made him vulnerable. And he was about to kiss up on her, and then all of a sudden, you know, old girl who's Hakeem's friend saw him, and he stopped himself, and he's like, you know what, let's get out of here. And there he goes off with her. Now after they left, you know, they turning up at the party and everything, and then the next thing you know, Angelo shows up with Anika. And Cookie's like, what the hell are you doing here? He's like, what's up, Cookie? Do you feel some kind of way because I'm here with Anika and not with your ghetto ass? I'm like, Angelo, shut your punk ass up, because it's obviously you still in love with Cookie and you mad that she's in love with Lucius. So cut the bullshit. But then they decide to drop a bomb. He's like, I just came because I wanted to serve you something. And she's like, what the hell is this? And Anika's like, well, again, I have been made to feel as a guest to my own daughter's birthday party. So what I'm going to do is that, since I know how you lions get down and how you like to bite, I'm going to bite you back. Or as a matter of fact, I'm going to bite you before you can bite me. I am going for sole custody of Bella. And, you know, Angelo is going to be my lawyer. And I'm gonna get all of my rights back for my daughter, and we can see this is pissing Hakeem off. And that's pretty much one thing that went down with that. So I was like, see, now Angelo has finally joined in with Diane and her bullshit. So then we also get a scene actually at first we did get a scene with Claudia and Cookie. They kind of had a moment, and she's saying that, you know, he's kind of, and Claudia's like, well, I just put him to bed. He's starting to get some recollection, but he's still not there yet. But I think what's going on is that he's at a crossroads. And that's when Cookie's like, I know one thing that'll bring him back, because I remember this, you know, this lion statue that he slept up under when he was 9 years old, when he was homeless. And from that point on, he left the white there and woke up Lucius Lion. Problem is, Cookie, you told this to the wrong bitch, because next thing you know, her and Lucius have a conversation. Next thing you know, she takes him back to that spot, and she lets him know this is the place you slept when you were 9 years old. And then he starts recollecting, you know, being 9 years old, sleeping under that statue. And that's where Lucius Lion was born. And he said that, look, you're now at a crossroads now. You can be whoever you want to be. You don't have to be Lucius Lion anymore. Because in their conversation, he was saying that, you know, I want to reconnect, but the Lucius that Cookie wants, I don't want to be that guy anymore. I don't like him. You know, I know he's a part of me, but I don't like that guy. So Claudia takes it upon herself, well, I can help you, Dwight. You know, I can help you get to that crossroads. So come with me. She takes him there. Because at first Cookie said, I want to take him there. But then she tells Cookie, no, don't do that. Because it could actually be too much too soon for him. Give him time. But this bitch went and took him on her own. And I'm like, see, we always knew that Claudia definitely had a sinister plot. And we definitely seen it finally come forth, because now she's like, you can be whoever you want to be. You don't have to be Lucius anymore. You now get to choose who you want to be now, and whatever you choose, that's what it's gonna be. And I'm like, oh my God, like this trifling, snaky ass bitch. And I'm like, see, I knew Claudia was up to no good. So that's where it ended. If I missed anything, put it down in the comments. I'd love to hear from you guys. But Subscribe to my channel. Click that bell so you can get notifications every time I drop a video. Also, I've started a GoFundMe. You can click on that link in the description box. Also, like this video, comment on this video, and share this video. And I will be back with the next episode of Empire. So until then, everybody, take care.